Welcome, everyone. My name is Janine Ortiz, and I am the Partnerships Director for Discover Puerto Rico. Thank you for joining our industry update. In this webinar, Discover Puerto Rico's executive leadership team will walk you through the latest updates, strategies, and trends in research, marketing, and sales. Before we get started, let's go over a few housekeeping items. Today's industry update will be translated simultaneously into Spanish. The slides used are available in Spanish on our industry portal, www.discoverpuertorico.com/industry, so you can download the presentation and follow along. This webinar is also being recorded. Afterwards, you will receive a link to the recording so you can replay at your convenience. La presentación del día de hoy tendrá subtítulos o closed captions en español. Si usted desea activar la función de subtítulos en español, oprima en el botón etiquetado Closed Caption en la parte de abajo de su pantalla. Elija la opción que dice Show Subtitles para ver los subtítulos en español. Si desean ver el tracto completo de la traducción, pueden seleccionar la función que dice View Full Transcript. La presentación que utilizaremos el día de hoy está disponible en español y puede ser descargada desde nuestro portal de la industria, discoverpuertorico.com/industry. Además, el seminario web del día de hoy está siendo grabado. En los próximos días recibirán un enlace con la grabación del mismo para que puedan repasar el contenido a su conveniencia. After the presentation, we will have time for a Q&A. Please feel free to send your questions throughout the presentation. And you may do so by using the Q&A feature, which is the bubble labeled Q&A at the bottom of your screen. During today's industry update, you will hear from our CEO, Brad Dean, our Director of Research and Analytics, Alicia Valentine, our Chief Marketing Officer, Leah Chandler, Chief Sales Officer, Ed Carey, our Director of Leisure Sales, Francisco Blanche, and Aidil Rivera, Account Supervisor for Miles Partnership. And now, to get things started, I'll leave you with Discover Puerto Rico CEO, Mr. Brad Dean.
Thank you, Janine, and saludos from your DMO, Discover Puerto Rico. We genuinely appreciate you taking time to join us today, and we are very pleased to share with you an overview of our plans, actions, strategies, and current market dynamics as together we work to grow tourism throughout our island. As 2022 winds down, we have much to be thankful for. Tourism continues to lead the economic resurgence of Puerto Rico, and together we're setting records along the way. Visitation, spending, and employment continue to reach or exceed 2021 levels, which, as you know, was our best year ever in Puerto Rico tourism. In comparison to other Caribbean islands and states in the U.S. mainland, Puerto Rico continues to outperform our peers. Our sales pipeline is far ahead of pre-pandemic levels, and the booking pace has picked up considerably in recent months. We're also seeing very solid growth in the leisure trade, both domestically and in key international markets. Now, in spite of the damage that Hurricane Fiona wrought and the negative media coverage that we endured outside of our island, 2022 will still turn out to be a record-breaking year, and we're seeing significant progress in the tourism industry recovery throughout the southern and western regions. Once again, Puerto Rico has proven that through collaboration, cooperation, and a no me quito spirit, we can rise above adversity and accomplish great things together. So as we look to 2023, we're encouraged by what we're seeing. The softening of the economy will most certainly impact our island and our industry, but we are prepared to do all we can to grow tourism regardless of the economic environment. And while we had to pause some of our marketing plans in response to Fiona, we've reemerged with an innovative campaign that builds upon the positioning of the Boricua while delivering a timely message that is resonating with consumers, particularly those in cold weather markets. We've maintained a solid presence in more than 24 key markets and several international markets while executing the most comprehensive national promotional campaign ever in the island's history. And of course, we continue to elevate our tourism brand nationally and globally through ongoing publicity initiatives and a variety of promotional tactics backed by credible research. In fact, in just the past 3 months, We participated in more than 75 trade shows, road shows, and promotional activations, all designed to position Puerto Rico as the premier leisure, meeting, and event destination in the Caribbean. Now, admittedly, I'm a little biased when it comes to Puerto Rico and its tourism industry, but apparently I'm not the only one expecting Puerto Rico tourism to do well next year. I draw great confidence in seeing projected capacity increases by airlines and cruise lines for 2023, a very good sign for all of us. Now, at Discover Puerto Rico, we've always recognized that our fundamental purpose, our why, if you will, is to promote, protect, and improve our island by putting the transformative power of travel at work for you and others. While much of our time and resources are dedicated to high-impact sales and marketing efforts off-island, we are always looking for creative ways to directly impact you and your ability to excel in your business. A few months ago, we were very proud to actively support the relaunch of an HSMAI chapter here in Puerto Rico. HSMAI is a global organization dedicated to providing training, development, and networking for sales and marketing professionals in the hospitality industry. Janine Ortiz is leading that effort, and last week we were thrilled to see 26 local professionals take part in the Certified Hospitality Digital Marketer course. If you're interested in participating in the global hospitality industry's premier professional networking and development alliance, please contact Janine or any member of our team to learn more. We're also very proud of the progress that's being made through La Idea, the island's digital education academy. This innovative program is delivering exceptional in-person support, guidance, and marketing intelligence to local businesses who desire to improve their digital marketing skills and expand or enhance their presence in tourism's digital ecosystem. This award-winning program has already impacted several thousand local businesses, and you'll hear more today about La Idea from one of our most engaging and enthusiastic partners, Ideal Rivera of Miles Partnership. Now, I'd be remiss if I did not mention the key support we've received from Governor Pierluisi, the central government of Puerto Rico, and the federal government in 2021 and also in 2022. It's no coincidence that the two best years in the history of Puerto Rico tourism have come when we were able to double our budget by investing one-time federal funds in tourism promotion. Unfortunately, those funds will run out after 2023, so you can be certain we are looking at ways to continue the progress that we've all made together. As we wrap up a very successful 2022 and look forward to 2023, a year that's certain to be filled with both challenges and opportunities. On behalf of the team at Your DMO Discover Puerto Rico, I want to once again express our gratitude for your partnership and support. You can continue to count on your DMO team to continue working diligently to position our island and our industry for even greater accomplishments in the future. It's now my pleasure to turn the presentation over to our Director of Research and Analytics, Alicia Valentine.
Thank you, Brad. It's wonderful to be back with you today, especially with such good news to share. The last time we met, there was a lot of uncertainty after Hurricane Fiona and what the end of the year would bring and how it would impact our bookings for 2023. So I'm thrilled to be able to dig into the details of what we've seen. As we close out the year, we can confidently say that 2021's record high visitor spending was not an anomaly. A year ago, the worry was 2021 would be a flash in the pan, merely a victory of circumstances coming out of the pandemic. But that certainly isn't the case. The year-to-date lodging revenue is up nearly 30% from a year ago. And while higher rates do play a role, demand is 14% higher than last year. And it's not just because of the successes early in the year when 2021 visitation was still sluggish, that period before vaccines really became available. When looking at combined hotel and rental demand, every month this year has had more bookings than a year ago. And this kind of growth is very unique to Puerto Rico. The U.S. Travel Association's recovery tracker has been monitoring monthly spending changes against 2019. But when we look at the year-to-date changes against the pre-pandemic benchmark, our position becomes evident. You'll see here that we're leading growth in visitor spending in the US, with Puerto Rico in blue, an estimated 19% increase, when that US average remains even lower than 2019. And only 4 other states are seeing double-digit growth. And these are all states with smaller economies and visitor economies than Puerto Rico. And so this record visitor spending moves through the economy and is generating record employment in the sector. The Bureau of Labor Statistics estimates that as of the end of October, employment is at over 91,000. That's nearly 8,000 jobs created just this year. And with this, leisure and hospitality employment is 14% higher than pre-pandemic levels, while the jobs in the industry nationally still remain 5% off the same period in 2019. So these job increases and rising inflation, wages in the sector have increased more than 34% in the past year. And this is significantly higher than other industries on the island, where wages have increased 10% year over year. But as the year comes to a close, we want to just not celebrate the successes of 2022, but really look to 2023 and beyond. So I wanted to share with you what our current forecasting is looking like for both visitor volume and spending. And these forecasts by Tourism Economics, who are our partner in all things economic impact and is really the leader in the industry for this kind of data. They use 2019 as the baseline. And so using this index of 100 for 2019, we see that not only we did not return to those visitation numbers in 2021, but that's primarily due to the cruise industry not being able to return in 2021. So last year, we only had 28% of the 2019 volume. However, our estimates for how we close out this year do have volume 7% above 2019, with similar rates of growth anticipated for 2023. And though our overnight visitor volume did set records last year, without that cruise industry, total visitation did remain suppressed. But digging into what the cruise industry recovery really looks like, this shows us the performance against other Caribbean ports, again, based off that 2019 volume, where 2019 is indexed at 100. And with this, obviously lots of numbers in this chart, but what's clear is that Puerto Rico is expected to end the year with only 58% of the cruise passengers of 2019. So that's far below most other Caribbean ports. And in 2019, cruise passengers made up about a third of our total volume. So that we're expected to see total visitor volume numbers surpass 2019 with only 58% of the cruise passengers really speaks volumes to how much Discover Puerto Rico has been able to grow demand for the destination. And though the number of sailings for 2023 will pick up, we're still only forecasted to have about 80% of the 2019 cruise passenger volume next year. And those cruise passengers made up about 30% of our 2019 visitation. Their spending accounted for only about 7% of that total direct visitor spending. So with this, we knew that the visitor spending forecast was especially positive. Those record overnight visitors in 2021 resulted in 15% higher spending than pre-pandemic levels, even without the higher volume. But for 2022, this is combined with even more volume and rising rates. So the year is expected to end with 39% more visitor spending than in 2019 and more modest growth in the coming years. I should note on these charts, though, that the forecast from Tourism Economics for both volume and spending does provide 3 potential scenarios. And so this baseline is what's anticipated to happen if the current economic conditions continue and the US experiences a mild recession at the beginning of next year. Those downside scenarios are based off of increasing inflation and the Fed continuing to raise rates. And the upside is possible if the inflationary pressures subside and the Fed would begin to cut rates. But as you can see, even the potential of a downside forecast has us well ahead of 2021's record-setting spending. And these potential forecasts are really feasible and that kind of growth because of the confidence airlines have shown in Puerto Rico. We've seen increased air capacity this year compared to pre-pandemic levels, and the first 6 months of next year have 13% more seats than even 2022. So certainly, our primary market remains US domestic, with 90% of seats from these mainland markets. And for January through June, there's a 10% increase in capacity from these markets. But the return of international travel, we're seeing a significant increase in these international seats. And while this is certainly encouraging, I just want to be clear that 68% of those international seats are actually from Caribbean destinations. Our historical data shows us that the majority of passengers on these Caribbean flights are actually Puerto Rico residents, and that was 69% this year. Comparatively, on domestic flights, only 36% of those passengers are residents. So not only do we have more passenger arrivals this year than ever before, more of them are visitors. The year-to-date, 63% of the passengers into San Juan are actually visitors, the highest since 2016. And these kinds of increases in visitor volume and spending don't just happen. And as we're seeing in forecasts, our successes coming out of the pandemic really weren't a flash in the pan. Our metrics around the reach and effectiveness of the marketing show that Discover Puerto Rico's efforts have improved perception of the island as a desirable destination and increased interest in visiting considerably. So I'll turn it over to Chief Marketing Officer Leah Chandler to show us what's happening in marketing.
Great. Thanks so much, Alicia. The objective of our supplemental campaign, which Brad mentioned, Feel the Warmth, is to drive engagement and interest for Puerto Rico during the winter season. Warmth is as much emotional as it is physical, and this is illustrated in this campaign through our imagery and copy. The call to action includes book now, which reflects immediacy and also aligns with what we're seeing in that shortened booking window. Feel the Warmth launched across paid media channels on October 31st and will run through the end of first quarter next year. This campaign really serves as sort of a transition between We Are Boricua, which was intended to project a sense of confidence in travelers after the hurricane, and the more celebratory Live Boricua campaign, which we launched back in May. In collaboration with R&R partners, we developed 2 30-second spots and 2 15-second spots, one of which is running in cinema advertising, first time ever. And we're going to share one of these spots with you now.
In our winter, the forts aren't made of snow. There's no such thing as wind chill. The only thing frozen is your cocktail. And our people shine as bright as the sun. Feel the warmth. Live Boricua.
And on this next slide, we're providing just a quick look at some of our media assets that are reflected across OTT, social, and our native paid media. This includes DirecTV pause ads, which are also new. These serve as a screensaver when you pause the television while watching DirecTV. We also developed an adaptation of Feel the Warmth to help spotlight the recovered South and West regions. The objective there is to drive visitation to the areas where the economic impact is really needed the most right now. This messaging highlights attractions and things to do that are specific to that region. And the call to action there again includes that book now, prompting immediacy. And here we're going to show just a few examples of this creative. The campaign includes display banners, social ads, and a 15-second video driving viewers to South and/or West region landing pages on our website to learn more and book a trip. We also created 2 new videos or spots developed specifically for the South and West regions as well. Now, in October, we hosted IGLTA's Global Convention Closing Reception, and that featured our Live Out, Live Boricua campaign with Puerto Rican-inspired food and a dedicated Puerto Rican music playlist. We shared a presentation there where we discussed the path that the DMO has taken from becoming a new IGLTA member to becoming a convention host in only 3 years. Puerto Rico is the host for IGLTA's 40th anniversary global convention in 2023. That's going to take place in October. On November 15th and 16th, our multimedia team, with the support of our friends at T-Mobile, the district, executed a 2-day photo shoot of Distrito, the product there featuring the Live Boricua campaign, really elevating what we've already been doing in this space. This included 10 photo setups highlighting the versatility of the district within the context of Live Boricua. Art, gastronomy, music, sports, and more are going to be featured across these ad extensions, the website, and our earned and owned channels. Following the Distrito shoot, we have several upcoming shoots as well. We've been capturing holiday imagery, showcasing the unique cultural activities surrounding the holiday season on the island. These shots include parandas, coquitos, Puerto Rico's holiday lights, and decorations across the island. The images will support current and future holiday promotions, such as our regular Live Boricua ads, social images, website, and our PR efforts. Additionally, we have 2 upcoming photo shoots, the first being in the south and west regions of the island that will be used as part of the Live Boricua campaign to, again, help that economic impact in those regions. And second, we're doing a beer photo shoot that's going to capture imagery at bars and breweries around the island to elevate and increase awareness of Puerto Rico's uprising craft beer culture. As many of you may have heard or know about the remarkable story of Mrs. Puerto Rico, it's become a story that's found its way from Spain to the island through the magic of social media. The contestant on the show, El Cazador, was tracked down by Discover Puerto Rico's in-market team and has been on a whirlwind of media interviews and radio shows to tell her inspiring story. Her story so far has reached over 16 million people online to date, and we're continuing with our plans to bring her on the trip of her dreams, arriving on the island in January with some of her family. So we'll keep you posted on that. The first phase of the Live Boricua International campaign wrapped in October and overperformed across all of our markets, delivering over 66 million impressions. Now, the second phase of the digital campaign is going live with updated Feel the Warmth messaging specifically for Canada in this case. Live Boricua digital campaigns will branch out to new platforms, including out of home for the first time, connected TV, and new social platforms. The beginning of 2023 brings with it some really fantastic opportunities to continue promoting international airline access to the island. JetBlue, in partnership with Discover Puerto Rico, will be highlighting routes from London via JFK and Boston during Q1, with marketing in trade media and booking incentives for travel agencies. Discussions continue with JetBlue to develop plans that have the potential to boost product development by travel agencies in the UK during the coming months. The International Tourism Trade Fair is taking place again in 2023 in Spain. And Discover Puerto Rico has planned a series of events and activations around this fair, with the governor going to be in attendance to amplify the island's unique and diverse voices. There are going to be several panel discussions and one-to-one meetings at the tour that's going to engage over 82,000 industry members of our Spanish-speaking markets in the community-led approach. It's really at the heart of the Live Boricua International campaign. Building on the current engagement with influencers, Discover Puerto Rico is developing activity with influencers from the UK and Canada who will arrive on the island between April and June of next year. The planned social coverage will include dedicated Instagram posts, reels, stories, dedicated YouTube video, and organic distribution on Visit the USA consumer social channels in all languages. We have a Rolling Stone launch event coming up and a party along with it that's going to take place in Madrid in February of 2023. Through a really unique partnership, we'll have a Puerto Rican night atmosphere at the event. The new partnership is going to include articles and podcasts portraying the island organically with content that matches with the magazine's regular publications. A Puerto Rican singer will appear on the cover of the magazine, and that's likely going to be Pedro Capó, who we've been working with. This is a really great opportunity for Discover Puerto Rico, as with their launch in Spain, Rolling Stone is set to be one of the biggest multimedia platforms available for the Spanish-speaking market. 2023 brings exciting developments and partnerships and activations across all of our international markets, starting with Bacardi, who will be furthering our relationship with in the next year through themed fam trips, media gifting, and features in international events. Another global brand we're engaging with over the coming months on an international level is Sony Music. So discussions right now are currently in early stages, but we're looking to center those around growing the island's voice. And that partnership between Sony Music and Discover Puerto Rico is going to provide a vehicle for music as a true key brand pillar across international markets in the coming year. To continue increasing visibility of Live Boricua, we've partnered with Marriott International to offer Live Boricua themed packages that are going to be available through mid to late January, featuring arts, decor, experiences, and culinary offerings by local brands and talent. The program is really continuing to build momentum in trade and consumer outlets, both on the mainland and also in Latin America. To date, this partnership has garnered coverage, resulting in over 234 million media impressions. To provide guidance to our industry partners about the Live Boricua campaign, we've also developed a detailed collaboration kit to use in marketing and communications efforts to support the campaign. So this is really for our industry partners. The kit includes a campaign overview, visual and communication guidelines, approved messaging, social content, and a top-line frequently asked questions section. In mid-October, IMEX America 2022, the largest trade show in the U.S. for the MICE industry, took place. At the conference, Brad spoke at the press center alongside PRCDA to discuss a variety of key updates, including details on the island's status following Hurricane Fiona, key data on the outstanding progress of the tourism industry, highlighting those record-breaking results, and a new record in tourism employment. A variety of key MICE media were in attendance, including the Meetings Magazine, Meetings Net, and Meetings Today. Overall, IMEX remains a really key opportunity to showcase the island as a standout MICE destination, where we interacted with more than 750 potential clients to bring future business to the destination. Continuing our efforts with MICE, we hosted a FAM with 3 media from Colorado Meetings and Events, Northwest Meetings and Events, Black Meetings and Tourism, and Endless Events to explore our MICE offerings here. Media attended site visits to the Convention Center, Distrito T-Mobile, Hyatt Regency Grand Reserve, Wyndham Grand Reserve, Rio Mar, and several others. And in the virtual space, the Society of American Travel Writers hosted a speed dating style networking event to connect leaders across the industry. Siamata from our team connected with 11 travel and lifestyle journalists from Photos Travel, Chicago Tribune, Afar, and several others. Another exciting event to elevate our presence in an important key emerging market, we participated in the Austin Food and Wine Festival, which is a 2-day event hosting over 6,000 consumers from November 5th through the 6th, featuring more than 30 world-renowned chefs, wine and spirit producers, culinary personalities, and top-rated restaurants from around the country. Discover Puerto Rico took place in the Grand Tasting Pavilion, where we spotlighted culinary offerings from Chef Mario Pagan and educated attendees on Puerto Rico's gastronomy. We also partnered with Don Q and Louisa Dark Chocolate to offer a rum and chocolate tasting, the first time we've ever done that, sharing information on the rum and gastronomy culture on the island. To amplify our presence with top media in Austin, we also hosted an exclusive media dinner before the Austin Food and Wine Festival, where we hosted 31 media and influencers from outlets like Food Network, Forbes Advisor, and many others. Following our attendance at the Skift Global Forum earlier this quarter, our team also participated in the Skift Aviation Forum on November 16th in Dallas. The forum brought together CEOs and executives from across the airline industry to discuss the future of aviation. Alicia, our Director of Research and Analytics, who you just heard from, spoke about Puerto Rico's flight options and our airline marketing programs. The event was viewed both in person and virtually, with 251 live registrations and 167 people tuning in virtually. On November 26th, we partnered with Brands of Puerto Rico to promote Small Business Saturday. Our cross-functional campaign included video content, interviewing local business owners, as well as a big social media push to highlight featured businesses. To date, the campaign has driven 134,000 earned impressions. To continue showcasing our incredible culinary offerings, we have recently partnered with the NYC Chef's Dinner Series to host top media during intimate dinner experiences with Puerto Rican chefs. Discover Puerto Rico representatives speak about the island's incredible gastronomy across 5 dinners, with the first, which had just took place on November 19th, themed around the holiday season. The upcoming dinner will feature amazing dishes from Chef Jose Enrique and cocktails from Don Q, including coquito, to celebrate the holiday festivities. And we're also really excited to promote the Delta route that's going to resume in December between Detroit and San Juan. We're gearing up for a coffee, cocktails, and crafting themed media event in Detroit on December 13th, where we're again partnering with Don Q, 787 Coffee, and a Detroit-based Puerto Rican graffiti artist to lead a really interactive art class. Another exciting partnership we've pursued is with PRHTA's Puerto Rico National Culinary Team. We joined them for Somos Orlando on December 4th, Expo Puerto Rico on December 6th, and we have upcoming news engine efforts such as National Coquito Day on December 21st, where we will continue those partnerships. To celebrate National Coquito Day on the 21st, we've partnered with Don Q and a mixologist from the Puerto Rico National Culinary Team to create a coquito video at Sarayas Castle Museum. We're going to be pitching the video for holiday coverage, and we'll include it in Discover Puerto Rico's social media channels. In mid-November, we hosted an arts and culture fam, which included arts and culture focused editors from Miami Today, Art in America, and the Brooklyn Rail. And we're going to further that commitment to generating awareness of the Southwest region. On December 1st to the 4th, we hosted several fam trips to highlight the Boricua culture. We hosted travel writers and editors from Inside Hook, Hello Beautiful, and Environmental Perspectives. Also during those dates, we hosted media in the Northwest region with attendees and travel writers from outlets like The Grio and Travel More. December 8th through 11th, we're going to be hosting a diaspora influencer fam with Boricua influencers. Experiences will include a Ponce history and culture tour, chili boats experience at La Paguera, a bio bay tour, and mini gastronomical tastings. For the upcoming weeks, we are continuing to pitch from an earned media perspective, including holiday travel guides. We mentioned National Coquito Day and where to travel in 2023, among many others. In November, Discover Puerto Rico's social media channels created 10 regular posts featuring 19 content pieces from the South and West regions. In addition, we created Instagram stories and shared articles related to both regions on Twitter. With the paid promotion, this content has reached more than 1.6 million social users since being published and has generated more than 26,000 engagements. As the users make it to the website, either by paid media or organically, we're making sure those South and West region page content is front and center. We prompted users to view dedicated itineraries and region homepages. And once on those region homepages, we're educating them that direct flight access is available. We've deployed multiple emails in November to our highly engaged audiences. One was dedicated entirely to the South and West regions, while 2 additional deployments heavily promoted them. Results on each email aligned with our DMO benchmarks, and once users were on the site, they were getting really engaged with the content. Users from our emails spent on average almost 4 minutes on the site and visited 2.5 pages. And finally, this month, Discover Puerto Rico and Miles will be in Ponce and Lajas to meet with the industry and discuss top digital marketing trends to help businesses accelerate their recovery. In this year's edition of Small Business Saturday, Discover Puerto Rico highlighted 6 brands that really brought that Boricua spirit to life with paid promotion on social media. The content, which included an official activation video, reached more than 205,000 users. The landing page for Small Business Saturday continues to be updated. We're doing that on an annual basis. Through November, we saw over 2,500 page views with an average time on site of 3 minutes. We've also created a new landing page to serve as a hub for all of our holiday-centered content. The page highlights Navidad Boricua as the longest holiday celebration in the world. The team also created the countdown to the Navidad Boricua social activation to celebrate the traditional beginning of the holiday season in Puerto Rico. We've shared assets featuring gastronomic and cultural elements like pasteles and parranda kits leading up to the day after Thanksgiving. The activation has reached more than 203,000 social users and generated more than 5,000 engagements, and all of that was purely organic. Our Sunshine to Spare program continues to progress, highlighting the work over the last few months. Engagement here remains really strong with over 5 minutes on the page. We've added a shopping component for users to purchase these products from participating partners and a new in-depth landing page highlighting uses for our Pantone color. Something new to responsibly safeguard visitors and inform them about the weather conditions on the island. We've recently collaborated with the National Weather Service in San Juan and developed a landing page where consumers can learn about Puerto Rico's tropical climate and hurricane season, read vital information on rip currents, flash flooding, air quality, and average temperature, as well as see live updates regarding the weather conditions on the island. So this landing page is now available as a tool under Planning Essentials, or you can visit discoverpuertorico.com/weather. And taking advantage of our top performing content on Instagram Reels, the team created a new strategy in which 2 Instagram Reels have been shared every week since the beginning of November. Through listicles, POVs, and voiceover narration, the team has shared 8 reels so far with an organic performance that includes more than 500,000 views and more than 40,000 engagements. The next big social media undertaking for the DMO will be Discover Puerto Rico's official entry into TikTok in January. So stay tuned for more details on that. A media campaign was developed specifically to promote the Southwest region, utilizing the creative you saw earlier in this meeting. The campaign was particularly focused on digital mid and lower funnel efforts to bring visitors to that region of the island. The audience and target markets you can see here, as well as the results of our efforts across both traditional and digital media. With OTT, nearly 2 million impressions were delivered in the 2-week period, and the video completion rate exceeded all of our benchmarks. 2023 will keep this great momentum that we built throughout Q4, utilizing both the core and ARP funding sources. With traditional media, there's going to be a full mix, including spot TV across key existing and emerging markets, national print, as well as an evergreen presence of OTT reaching targeted audience for the island. With digital media, we'll launch new custom partnerships across Lonely Planet, Afar, Cargo, and TripAdvisor, allowing us to re-engage with our audience with more long-form content and rich media experiences. Additional advancements in targeting and tactics in paid search, social, display, native, and video are going to bring a lot of efficiency and continued learning to our campaigns. 2023 ARP funding will also support campaigns targeting LGBTQ+ and MICE. Our LGBTQ+ audiences will be reached with OTT through partnerships with Reverie, as well as Hulu. Digital media focused our LGBTQ+ efforts on engagement within social media, as well as advanced data partnerships, moving our audience towards visitation as we hone in on those LGBTQ+ potential travelers. And of course, our MICE initiatives continue to include a full mix of print, social via LinkedIn, and past top performers in email and native advertising. Ed, I think that's over to you now, our Chief Sales Officer.
Great. Thanks a lot, Leah. And good afternoon, everyone. I hope you're all doing well and enjoying the holidays. So much has changed in the meetings and event space over the last year. We thought we would start today with just a quick look at what the overall demand levels are for the United States as a whole in the MICE field. The charts you see here represent the aggregate of over 214 destinations across the United States. And the good news is that on the left, the overall lead volume in the United States is tracking at 98% of the 2019 levels. However, on the right, we see that the overall room night potential of these leads is trending downward and currently sits at 77% of 2019 levels. So this obviously means that the trend has been shifting to smaller meetings, probably not a big surprise. And further in this analysis provided by SimpleView, we see evidence that attendance levels have been an issue for many events. Part of the problem is no doubt related to the current state of the economy and rising costs of goods and services. In fact, according to the latest North Star Meeting Pulse survey, concerns over higher costs for both rooms and food and beverage have exceeded their concerns over service and staffing levels. And what is concerning on this chart is that for the first time, 50% of meeting planners are saying that they are having trouble getting responses to RFPs. And that's a factor that we can hopefully control. In today's environment, the quicker we respond, the better our chances are at winning a bid. So overall, close to 90% see no relief from these rising costs. So this puts meeting planners, and really all of us, frankly, in the challenging position of creating extraordinary experiences while at the same time watching costs. In the first four categories from left to right on this slide, you see concerns over COVID safety declining, and the biggest emerging priorities are return on experience for attendees themselves, followed by cost containment. And of course, return on investment for the organizations hosting these events remains critically important as well. So as we look at the meetings demand in Puerto Rico, we are fortunate that our lead volume is well above the US aggregate demand. In fact, we are now comparing our volume on a year-over-year basis because we exceeded 2019 levels last year. In the first 5 months of our current fiscal year, lead volume is 62% higher than the same period last year. However, we're seeing evidence of smaller groups when you consider that total room nights are only up by 30%. And while these are still very strong numbers, it's important to keep in mind because it changes the way we manage our pipeline. So fiscal year to date, the number of bookings are nearly 47% higher than the same period last year. However, the total room nights are 16% higher. So this means we either have to book many more groups to achieve our room night goals, or we need to work together to target larger events outside of the short-term booking window. And we think we're in a good place to make these important tactical decisions. Earlier this week, the account team from CVent presented to our sales and revenue committee that RFPs are up by 256% over 2019, and even higher year over year. And our overall pipeline of both events and the related room nights are at all-time highs. So this coming year, you can rest assured that we are proactively adapting our efforts to meet the changing elements of that demand. We are expanding our efforts to conduct monthly business reviews with our partners, especially as it relates to multi-hotel events. We are deploying additional resources at managing small group demand to free up our national sales directors to go after larger groups. And we've expanded partnerships and vertical targeting with important third parties like BCD Meetings and Events, Conference Direct, Prestige Global, and Alhi. And you've seen examples of the content and messaging surrounding the Meet Boricua campaign, and we're aggressively working to provide added value to meeting planners through a combination of innovative hotel promotions and our business development funds. Francisco Blanch will tell you more about our efforts to expand our leisure sales internationally, and of course, our entire team will maintain an extremely robust calendar of trade show activations and targeted road shows and events. Next week, we're partnering with Palm Beach, Florida, and Toronto, Canada, to sponsor the Hosted Buyer program at the International Association of Exhibits and Events annual expo. And through the first quarter of 2023, we will have a significant presence at important events with PCMA, Site Global, the Financial and Insurance Conference Planners Association, and others. And lastly, in 2023, it is hard to imagine any destination will have more attention from planners, travel advisors, media, and influencers. We kick off with, as Leah mentioned, the American Society of Travel Advisors Global Conference in May, followed by the Women in Travel Summit, the Prestige Global Meeting Summit, the International Gay and Lesbian Travel Association, the Society of American Travel Writers, North Star Meetings Destination Caribbean, and others. So with that, I'll turn it over to Francisco Blanch.
Thank you, Ed, and good afternoon, everyone. There are so many different angles from which we see evidence of a successful strategy. And while GDS keeps us humble, being the least used channel of all leisure options, the growth we've seen is very rewarding when the numbers in October and November of 2022 surpassed those of 2018 and 2019. December is building up strongly, all the while the short booking window patterns remain. From another angle, the strategy on promoting the destination to qualified advisors, members of top key consortia who themselves invest in the same channels. We're seeing how they're showing consistency in sales in GDS channels, supporting the overall figures we saw in the previous slide. We also see in the other and non-affiliated columns that this is a better strategy than randomly pursuing events where in the past, lots of agents were briefly seen while they passed by our booth picking up a giveaway and reluctantly leaving a business card. This focus of targeting, promoting business to the destination, and educating these advisors on how to sell Puerto Rico is what works best. And here are more results because we can drive advisor traffic to our Puerto Rico Travel Expert program with the enticing loyalty program we rolled out. And the results from the bookings they must reflect in the loyalty program also gave us an insight on how much they're booking and what channels they use to book Puerto Rico properties. Added to the launch of the Spanish version, we added an additional chapter in small inns, paradores, B&Bs, and vacation rentals to make sure all options and all regions are covered in this important training. This has secured us a solid base of 30,000 advisors with direct interest in selling Puerto Rico, more to the strategy of going where the business is and being proactive in securing loyalty to the destination. Rather than showing you calendars, let us show you where we've been. Johanna Gonzalez shared with a tourism company attending the Florida Caribbean Cruise Association meetings in Santo Domingo. Yours truly covered Ascend with the participation in the trade show portion of Apple Leisure Group's yearly event in Cancun, the most important gathering of advisors supporting all their brands, Apple Vacations, Travel Impressions, Southwest Vacations, United Vacations, and Cheap Caribbean. And we sponsored the Island Bar featuring Puerto Rico's official cocktail. As we expand into Canada, again, following our strategy, we were launched by Ensemble Consortia at their Horizons yearly event in Miami Beach as the new preferred ensemble destination. We covered the Affluent Travel Symposium. We covered the Las Vegas travel market. We received multiple recognitions for the destination, and Mr. Brad Dean was acknowledged as Executive of the Year at the Travi Gala. We covered the Signature Conference. We participated in the American Express Cruise Planners Annual Convention. We were present at the AAA Northeast Threads event, having increased our hotel membership to 27 hotels. Remember, all you have to do is apply. Virtuoso Mexico, of course, meeting with the second largest contingent of virtuosos after the United States. Copa Vacations Mexico covering 2 events and trainings with Mega Operadora and Mexhal Consolidator. And to close the year, the Atlanta and Scottsdale Power Solution events focusing on affiliate advisors of one of the top travel consolidator consortia, CCRA. And this week I covered their Tour Germany Top 100 German Agents Roundtable event in Orlando. So when asked how can any business become part of a consortia, remember to do your RFPs in the various tools available in GDS platforms or directly with them, something your sales teams most likely already do per the guidelines of your properties management. Thank you for your attention today. And now I leave you with Heidil Rivera, Account Supervisor for Miles Partnership.
Hello, everyone. My name is Aidil Rivera. I'm the local account supervisor for Miles Partnership in charge of La Idea program. Today, I'm excited to share more details about how Discover Puerto Rico have been helping tourism-related businesses around the island to improve their image and visibility. As a summary, the Island Digital Education Academy, it's a free program funded with ARP funds, and we launched it in January of this year, 2022. Our goal is to help local businesses to improve their image and visibility in the leading travel planning platforms such as Google, TripAdvisor, Yelp, Facebook, and Apple Maps. As we know, in Puerto Rico, we truly have a wonderful and unique tourist offering, but a large number of our businesses are not necessarily showing this in the way they present themselves online. So with La Idea, we are ensuring that our businesses are showcasing all of their best attributes to the world. The program targets all of the regions of the island, and as of today, we have completed the West, East, and are finalizing the Metro region, as well as Vieques and Culebra. The South, North, and Central Mountains have also been activated this past month. Year to date, we have assisted more than 3,000 businesses by providing them with personalized one-on-one assistance by our gurus digitales. We have also updated the image and general information of more than 1,000 attractions and points of interest in 30 municipalities around the island. Thanks to our partnership with municipalities, we have also added more than 500 new business listings to our website, discoverpuertorico.com. And I'm happy to share a breakdown of the businesses that we have impacted by the program from January to December. In the West, we have impacted more than 1,300 businesses, more than 800 in the East, 600 in the metro area, and almost 200 in the South. And we will continue in the following months with the remaining regions. The partnership with municipalities are a key part of the success of La Idea. And by hosting group sessions, we are also able to impact more businesses and engage with business owners that are not part of Discover Puerto Rico's database. We have been working hand in hand with the tourism directors to optimize the digital profiles of the different points of interest of their town, such as beaches, town halls, parks, museums, etc. And as of today, the program have hosted more than 50 group learning sessions around the island. So as part of the phase 2 of La Idea, last month, we started updating the Google Street View of the main streets and tourist areas of the San Juan metro area. Just to put it in perspective, the last major update of Google Street View on Puerto Rico was done in 2016. So we are thrilled to be able to contribute with
Janine, it looks like we may have lost Ideal, so we may want to skip to the end of her presentation, and we'll make the deck available to everyone afterwards.
Absolutely. So the last major update of Street View on Puerto Rico was in 2016. And since then, new attractions have been developed New commercial offerings have been created, and the streets in many tourist areas have changed and improved. And Google Maps is used by about 80% of travelers. And as a part of La Ideas Phase 2, we launched a photographic project to update the Google Street View platform that feeds Google Maps and Google Earth. We're also capturing 360 and aerial images of some of Puerto Rico's main tourist attractions and publishing them on Google. This phase began in late November in the San Juan metro area with Distrito T-Mobile and its 12 restaurants, the Mall of San Juan, Paseo Caribe, Lote 23, Bahía Urbana, Casa Bacardí, and the communities of Miramar, Cataño, and Condado, specifically Ashford Avenue. We're also proud to announce that the results of the program have been recognized and awarded by the main travel organizations, including a Mercury Award in the Innovation by the U.S. Travel Organization, an Adrian Award by the HSMAI organization, and we were recently selected as finalists for the Skift Award. So thank you so much for your time, and we look forward to working with you with La Idea. And I want to also thank you, Aidil, and the executive leadership team for providing such great information and insight. We do have some questions on the Q&A box, and we want to answer as many questions as we can in the time that we have left. So before we get started, I want to let you know that we will not be able to offer the translation feature during the Q&A session. So this portion will be in English only. Also, as I mentioned earlier, the webinar is being recorded, so later this week, you will receive a link to a recording so that you can replay it at your convenience or share it with colleagues who are not able to tune in today. If you have questions or need any additional information after the webinar, please send us a message at the email address on the screen. We will be happy to assist you. A nuestros amigos que están utilizando nuestro servicio de traducción, no vamos a poder ofrecer la función de subtítulos en esta sección, así que la misma será solo en inglés. También, como mencioné antes, este seminario web está siendo grabado y más tarde esta semana les haremos llegar el enlace con la grabación para que puedan repasar el contenido a su conveniencia o compartirlo con algún colega que no haya podido estar presente en el día de hoy. Y si al finalizar este seminario web tienen preguntas o necesitan información adicional, pueden enviar un correo electrónico a la dirección que ven en pantalla y con mucho gusto les asistiremos. So let's get started. The first question that we have is, do we have air seat capacity by month for Q4 2022 and Q1 2023? And I am going to ask our Director of Research, Alicia Valentine, to step in and answer that question.
Thank you. Thanks for asking your question early, Irene. It gave me some time to dig into the data while we were hearing the rest of the presentation. So certainly we're monitoring air capacity constantly and in touch with our agencies in terms of what that's looking like by market. In Q1 2023 and the rest of Q4, we're seeing increased capacity. It looks like about 6% overall for both of those quarters. Specifically in December, we have an increased capacity of about 9%, and that fluctuates ranging from February, an increase of 3% over 2022 to 20% more seats in March. So certainly we're constantly monitoring those pieces. In addition to what's happening in terms of capacity, we're looking at what's happening in terms of bookings as well. And 2022 Q4 has been especially strong, which coming off of Hurricane Fiona may be surprising for us to hear and see. But our sales team at Discover Puerto Rico actually had over 25,000 room nights on the books for October, and were able to secure those rooms and enable them not to cancel after Fiona. So we actually had more room nights from the sales team than we've ever had before since Discover Puerto Rico's inception for October. And that puts us, it looks like, about 5% ahead for the quarter, year over year against 2021. What we're seeing for the rest of December has us booking about 2% off the same pace a year ago. But we do know that the consumers continue to see a very condensed window in terms of how far out they're booking. And we actually saw that start to loosen towards the end of 2021 as consumers were making plans for 22. But now as kind of economic conditions have constricted that window again. And so looking at that booking pace, I know today I really talked most significantly about the long-term forecast, but specifically looking at that short-term forecast for Q1, we're booking about 5% ahead of that 2022 pace. So thanks again for your questions. Always happy to take those throughout the course of our industry updates.
Thank you so much, Alicia. So unfortunately, this is all the time that we have. So thank you everyone for joining us today. I'm also excited to share that our next industry update will be held in person on February 16, and we would love to see you there. So more details to come on that. Lastly, if you have not registered to our industry portal or to receive our weekly newsletter and weekly research dashboard, please head over to www.discoverpuertorico.com/industry to do so. And if you need assistance with the sign-up process, please reach out to us and our digital team will assist you. Once again, thank you and see you soon. Hasta pronto.